Everybody here?
Yeah, I heard it say it's doing a recording.
Okay.
Okay, so the statement of true identity is actually used for what purposes then? You said it's the most important thing to do before the estoppel?
Well, it's a fundamental fact that all the other documents work off of, and it's stated very clearly in one place.
I didn't quite understand what you said at the very beginning.
It's a fundamental fact that all of our documents are based on, and it's said very clearly in one place.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it's like the foundation for everything else then?
Right.
Okay.
I think some of the trouble may be in some of these documents is we state a whole bunch of things at once. And it's kind of mind-boggling even to people who understand it. And the people who are sending this to have no incentive to try to understand it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Steve, where did you say the thumbprint goes again? Will that show on the document?
Yes.
It's adjacent to the signature of the person's first name. The last name is printed because that's only after you died that you use a last name. Now, we're doing this document to be one of we the people. It establishes us as one of we the people, and not to be a person that the corporate United States only has jurisdiction over.
Right. I understand.
We have another document that talks about corporations lack jurisdiction over natural living men or women.
So we're not supposed to be using the last name?
No. Because that makes you a corporation. It makes you dead.
Well, the idea is that we're born into the family, but only given one name. And in fact, the being assigned the last name means you have died, and now you are put in the family plot.
Oh. What about the middle name?
That's part of your given name.
Do what you want with it.
It's part of your given name.
Mm-hmm. So if we sign any documents at all, we should not be using the last name then? Or if we trademark the name, would it be okay to do that?
You have to look at the documents, because what's going on here is that you, as a natural person, are just the way he has it, Patrick of the family divine. Mm-hmm. But you have to set up all kinds of ens legis, legal entities, to operate in their world. So you set up a state, you set up a trust. We're setting up our bank, and there are other entities that we set up, and they sign with the name because they're fictions. They're our fictions, they're no longer their fictions.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking your public employee that has the Social Security number out of the public, and now he's working for you as an individual banker for your private so-and-so, your name, bank, estate, and trust. So now he's your private banker. He's not a public employee. He's a private employee now when you get your EIN numbers. Does that make sense?
What you need to do, because there's a lot of material here that we're covering, and even though the actual some of the documents are no longer active, the ideas still are. So when you look at the welcome letter, it talks about looking at the recent directory.
Mm-hmm.
And the recent directory is number 36, Federal Reserve Banking. You really should go through all those documents backwards.
Okay.
So that'll give you the most recent ideas, and then they'll see how they get filled in, or what they got modified from.
Okay.
Did you get the mail from me? Blessings galore, whatever your name is.
I got the greetings email, but I haven't received anything since then.
I wrote blessings galore, and then the number, at blessings galore.
Oh, I see. You
234. Maybe I didn't put 234. Let me make sure.
No, you sent it. I got 4 attachments.
Oh, okay. Then that's what I wanted to know.
Yep, I got them. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I think I'm understanding that what you said is that we're taking a fiction name and we're making it become our private employee. Is that correct?
The way Patrick has expressed it before, they all work for the Tom Jones Company, and we only employ people called Tom Jones.
That's good. I like that. Okay, so but we don't have ownership. We just have control of the name. Is that correct?
We're trying to claim ownership. We're trying to. That's the whole thing. We're not the estoppel by deed is stopping them from using our assets.
Oh, I see.
But you want to have your other things set up, your private side set up before you do it.
Huh?
Right.
Got a couple, what do you call them?
That makes total sense, Stephen.
Okay. Footman Claude, I muted you. You like to have background conversations. And Ray, you got a fair amount of noise. Whatever you're knocking around, Ray. Okay, shall we?
The last sentence we have is, we, the undersigned, do hereby certify the foregoing is to be true, the whole
Right.
truth, and nothing but the truth, as we know it to be, by our own free will, act and deed, by our hand and word, do hereby establish the facts, dated, and then signed by so-and-so of the family, thumbprint. Yeah, those are all in the same line, and then same again, 2 witnesses.
Okay. Okay, since we missed the early part of recording this reading here, we just finished reading the statement of true identity example, which Patrick has out there. It's been uploaded both to Yahoo and to the e-concurrent backup. So you each need to do what we've just done here, is go through the documents very carefully, read it. You reread it several times. And if you have questions about it, then get on the Skype group and discuss specific sentences rather than getting on the Skype group like most people do and discuss alternate theories. We need to discuss the actual document, so we're not going to get anywhere with it.
Okay, Stephen, you said, was it Tom? Is that your name? Okay, Tom. You said to set up the private side before having the fiction employees come on board to be working for us.
Well, you have to get their EINs, the employment identification numbers,
Mm-hmm.
for the estate, for the foreign grantor trust, and for the private individual banker. And there are samples in there in that directory.
Okay.
So if you're just jumping in, there's a lot to catch up on.
Mhm. Okay, so establishing ourselves as a living entity, being of age of majority, does this all support that intention?
That's the way I
use the word man or woman. You don't want to say entity. You want to say man or woman.
Okay.
maybe you need to read this document again, because that's what it clearly said to me. It establishes your identity.
Mhm. Okay.
Where's she at? Where or what's do you have a name?
I'm in Arizona.
Okay. There might be people in Arizona on the group. You just have to ask, or go on the Skype group and ask anybody in Arizona, and you could probably call and talk to them, or you can call and talk to any of us, or go on the Skype group and ask questions.
Okay.
Right. The welcome email will tell you how to join the Skype group. It's available all day long for chat.
Oh, okay.
You have to make contact with the moderator and then other people if you're going to commune with them.
But the instructions for that are in the welcome email.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, so shall we go through the proof of private U.S. estate vehicle self-insured liability?
I don't know. I think I have that downloaded. I have to bring it up. It's called Proof. Let me see if I have it.
No, let's see what the file name. It's actually, the file name is Private Bank Insured Liability.
Okay. I have it downloaded, but I didn't bring it up on the screen yet. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm bringing up. I got Private Bank Insured Liability document.
Right.
Okay. On the top, there's a certified mail number blank underline.
Right.
So that when you get your certified mail number, you can put the little sticker there, or you can write it in.
Okay. Now, the purpose of this thing is to set up your own self-insured private insurance. Want to go ahead with it?
Yeah, the title of the document is called Proof of Private U.S. or United States Estate Vehicle Self-Insured Liability. Now, I'm questionable because the word vehicle is a commercial term. I don't know if that's the correct term to use there.
Well, you can discuss it with Patrick.
Yeah. Because automobile, you have the right to travel in an automobile. Vehicle is a commercial term. So I wouldn't really want to use it myself. Okay. Proof of private U.S. estate vehicle self-insured liability, exempt from state driver codes, commercial regulations, and regulator controls. Okay, for me, I wouldn't want to use a word that traverses me back into commercial regulations.
Okay.
Issued by Patrick Devine Enslega, CFO, number. That's the Chief Financial Officer. That's what the letter CFO means. And there's a blank space with a number, pound sign next to it. For the Patrick Devine Private Bank E&T.
Right, and you know what goes after the number sign.
Yeah, that's your individual banker EIN number.
Right.
And then the U.S. of A Treasury obligation, care of Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. Credit source. On the right side, Credit and Risk Management Division, 7th floor, Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, 10 Independence Mall. I imagine that's a credit source, but we should have, like he said, to set it up with that Appendix 3, Chapter 17, or was it Appendix 3 on Chapter 17?
I'm pretty sure that will be part of it.
Yeah. We have to study that, but in order to get in the front door with them, we have to know the banking circular instruction letter number 10 or something.
Well, operating circular 10.
Yeah,
but if you take a
10.
look at this, we're not withdrawing any credit. So this may not be going to because he has it directed to the U.S. Treasury. That's where the certified mail should go.
Right.
Okay? And what
Right.
we're doing with this is we're issuing our own letter of credit.
Yeah.
So
we know where it's parked. So he's mentioning where it's parked at. You're like describing
right.
what box or drawer it's at.
Yeah, Jacob, go get the money from here.
Yeah. Irrevocable private insured liability hyphen non-commercial driver. See, I wouldn't use the word driver either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Discuss it with him.
Yeah.
It should be traveler.
Yeah. Letter of credit, colon, a private U.S. estate bank note number on deposit for $2,500,000.
All right, $2.5 million.
So I don't know where you're going to get a number to put in there, but
you make one up. It's your own numbering system.
And then give it to him and give it to the Federal Reserve Bank.
He's sending this to the Treasury.
Okay. Okay, so you put your own number in there on deposit. Expiration date, duration of private U.S. estate vehicle ownership. That's, I would say, automobile. But anyhow, jurisdiction notice to Iowa DMV and all other DMV departments and all state commercial courts.
Right.
This irrevocable letter of credit, blah, blah, number that you make up yourself,
right.
is issued Patrick Devine, private U.S. estate. Then you put your estate EIN number there, which
right.
is probably a 46 number. Employees and property as of liability coverage not to exceed $2,500,000. It is a liability
security.
It says that it's not spelled correctly. Is that spelling correct?
No, it should be LIA.
Yeah, that's what it needs. LIA. There we go. That's repaired. It is a liability, security for the benefit of any party who may suffer damages or harm resulting from the direct negligence on behalf of the capital letter person, Patrick Devine, private bank and estate, individual or authorized operator. So,
now why would Patrick?
Because you're operating in commerce, and you have to have a way to interface with their commercial operation. Because corporations can only talk to other fictions.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But that's your EIN number. You do have, and that's your private Devine bank individual estate and trust. So on behalf of that's who's talking to you. All other commercial ens legacies. You know,
okay.
that's an interface name.
Mhm.
Description of private U.S. estate vehicle covered. Year, make, model, vehicle ID number. So there, he uses the VIN number. You have a year, a make, and a model. Like I said, I would know if I would use the word vehicle, but that's what he's using.
Are you even supposed to be using a VIN number when you're talking about a private vehicle? Because isn't a VIN number a statutory number?
Just the number that's on the chassis of the automobile or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It does identify it by the manufacturer.
Well, we will have, looking at this, we will have had to have turned our title in and redeemed it and get back full control of the vehicle.
We're sending our certificate in endorsed.
Right.
Or
That's a different document.
Yeah.
Duh.
So he has a 1997 Chevrolet K1500. I think it should be CK, but I may be mistaken. He has a new Ford Fusion car, and it says MSO on it.
Yes, he has the manufacturer statement of origin.
Yeah.
And the other one, he put an estoppel by deed against it.
Yeah. So we're sending this to the United States of America Treasury.
Right.
So we're sending it to the treasurer or the secretary of the treasury, I imagine. But mostly just to the treasury, not to any person specifically. Correct?
Well, if you read it, it says care of the Secretary of the United States Treasury.
Yeah, that's what I just said. So I was defining it. I said not to any person specifically.
Well, are we using the same address that's on the up above?
Yes.
Okay.
Then there's a description of the year, the manufacturer, and the model, and then the VIN number ID, and then it has in a box liability coverage limits upon validation of harm caused by operators, drivers, neglect.
Right.
Direct neglect, not driver, direct.
Right. And we don't need to go through each one of those categories.
The Patrick Devine Private Bank and Estate and Trust, that's you operating on the private side, that your chief financial officer is your employee that is running that whole bank, estate, and trust under your direction. So you're standing in the shadows and you're directing that guy and that whole bank. Will honor any validated liability draft upon this letter of credit and forward it to the Credit and Risk Management Division of the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia for the release and settlement of the deposited credits to the insured or harmed party within 30 days of the draft delivery. The liability drafts hereunder must be marked drawn under this irrevocable letter of credit, and then you put a number there. Do you have any suggestions, though, like what kind of numbers you want to have on there, Tom?
Well, Patrick has his, on his previous documents, he goes
like
his
001,
initials,
maybe 001.
So he basically has his initials. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
He has, generally, I've seen it, he has his own initials, / and then a couple of letters describing the document type, and then we may have something intermediary as a category, and then the transaction number.
Okay. So you just make it up yourself, right?
Yeah, go look at his examples or make up your own.
Yeah. Because we're private bankers and we have to learn how to bank stuff. And so a document like this is proof of insurance or a liability letter of credit.
Okay.
So you'd want some kind of a note on it, letter, just like Federal Reserve notes have letters and numbers on them.
Right. Let's finish the document here.
Okay. Okay, so the letter of credit number, which is like what you did at the above, and it must be accompanied by a written statement from the insured or harmed party
Injured.
stating that Patrick Devine Bank, Estate and Trust individual employee or authorized operator was directly negligent in the harming event. The statement is also to be signed and notarized by an authorized official.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, because they're kind of like swearing to the claim.
Right, right.
It is the condition of this letter of credit that it shall be in full effect as long as one or both of the vehicles are held as a state bank property, either by MSO title or CFO estoppel by deed title. Any liability drafts drawn under and in compliance with the above terms and conditions of this irrevocable letter of credit will be duly honored. Liability drafts upon the letter of credit shall be submitted to the Patrick Devine Private Bank, Estate and Trust, and then he has his address
and phone number,
executed, has a date, signed, signature, bank official, print name and title. So you would put, Chief Financial Officer or something like that underneath there where it says name and title. You would say, what the Chief Financial Officer's name is, most likely in capital letters. And then he signs it, Patrick Devine Ens Legis, individual banker, CFO number, blah, blah, blah.
Right, that'd be the EIN.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So the name that he has underneath, printed name and title, is an Ens Legis, and the title, I don't know why it's said there twice, because if you did it above, where it says printed name and title, and then you have it underneath, that's just an example, I guess.
Right.
Tom, what did you say Ens Legis meant again?
Legal entity, legal being.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Signifying that it's a live person?
No, the exact opposite.
Okay.
It's a fictional creation.
But it could have upper and lowercase letters. It could be anything, but when you put Ens Legis under there, it's not you, the man or the woman.
Okay, so it is the fiction then.
All right.
Yeah.
It's one of the Tom Jones. It's one of the Tom Joneses.
Okay. And they're representing us.
No, they work for us.
They work for us. Okay.
And I think that it might be smart to have a power of attorney there, but we may not have to have it since we already have an EIN number for that Chief Financial Officer.
No, remember he has to file a Form 56F.
Oh, okay.
To have the authority over the account.
Right.
Okay, does that give you an idea how to go about this on your own and then get into discussion with it?
Mm-hmm. The Form 56F you said has to be filed before we can do this?
That's part of completing the package with the EINs and getting yourself set up as a banker.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you have to have the banker stay. You have to be set up as a banker before you can do this form.
Got it.
Okay? So there's a lot of material in there. It all works together.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to
so Tom, are you saying that when we do the filing of the 3 EINs, that's what establishes us as our own private banker then?
No, that shifts us to the private sector.
When you file the estate, you're basically declaring your Social Security person dead.
Deceased, yeah.
And then when you do the form...
Anyhow, you're just making sure he's dead and he doesn't pop up again.
And then when you do the foreign grantor trust, you have set up a place to house all the assets the government has stolen. And then the private individual banker is hiring this fired, dead Social Security person as your own CFO.
Okay, so are we taking ourselves completely out of the Social Security system then?
No.
We're interfacing it. We get the rights to use it.
Oh, I see.
And
okay.
the estoppel says you can no longer use it. We use it.
Got it.
We're
So
the real owner.
You're going to have to read the estoppel by deed.
See, the owner is actually today, like right now, until you do an estoppel by deed, he's lost at sea. So you're saying he came back home, he's on the land, and he can grab the reins and steer his own affairs.
Okay.
He's not lost at sea anymore.
Okay.
Not presumed dead. You're saying I'm the living, I'm coming forward, kind of like an inter vivos trust, but you're doing it on the private side.
Okay.
Got it. Now, do you know of anybody who's actually used this form and was able to get out from underneath a lien against them on their vehicle?
We're in the process of doing
Work in progress. It's all new technology, and we're all trying to do it. But Patrick has given them stuff, and they sent him a letter that he doesn't have to provide proof of financial responsibility any longer. So he has succeeded.
Okay, so what did he need the proof of financial responsibility for?
He didn't. Well, they expect you to have it, but until you let them know that you're a private banker and you have access to your own funds, they decided that they don't require his financial proof of responsibility any longer.
You need to listen to Patrick on some of the calls.
Listen to the calls.
Okay. All right, I'll go back and listen to those.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
That's about a month ago.
Okay.
It's probably like around maybe June 17th or afterwards, somewhere in there. It might even be before July.
Right. We've been working on this because remember the sample for the EINs, the online examples from May 1st, and the private individual banker EIN SS4 is from April 28th.
How did you hear about this in Arizona? Did somebody down there tell you about it?
Yes.
Do you know how to get a hold of that person?
I do.
Man or woman? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, good.
We just don't happen to be on speaking terms right now.
And this is a short conversation.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's easy to offend people these days, I guess. I mean, most of us don't get along with our own families and everything.
Okay, so we've gone through documents here. This is a sample of what we should be doing on
Bill Smith.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, man. Boy, I have a time trying to get on this line. I don't know what the world's going on over here.
And now that you're here, Patrick isn't.
It's called Jade Helm.
Man, I don't understand what.
I'm glad you laughed because you know what? I know I was on a phone call with a friend in Arizona down in Yuma, and I got bounced like 5 times off the call. And then when he called me back, I just said, Jade Helm.
Man, I don't know.
Headquarters.
You know something? Evidently, we must be getting real close because I tell you, I have never seen nothing like it in all my life where I dialed a number, and then a couple doggone times they even say the number don't exist, and I say what? And I'm looking at the number.
That's Jade Helm. They're messing with you in real time. Didn't they say that was their mission? They were going to use their computers to interface with whoever or disrupt communications in real time. And then they have their own computers that tell them what they should do about the situation. So they have artificial intelligence that tells them whether or not they should allow the phone call to go through or not. So they're testing their own stuff. You just have to realize it, and then it's like, oh yeah, I guess that's what they're doing. You know, you don't really have to get frustrated. We're living in a world of tyranny, and like Ed Snowden tried to tell us, this is what you have to expect, and you have to just keep going or get around it. Like, you probably tried 5 times and then it worked, right?
It's true. Look, in one doggone, well, not tonight, but this is the third time. But the other night I tried to get on. I tried to get on so many times, lost track. You know, I just threw up my hands. And I tell you something else. The word was given to me that be careful about sending anything over Skype.
Who told you that?
Well, I got a friend of mine said, do not send stuff. Be careful about sending anything over Skype.
Yeah.
I'm hearing
doesn't Bill Gates own Skype now?
Huh?
I think Bill Gates owns Skype.
Well, I don't know what the deal is, but
I'm pretty sure that's true. And yeah, he's not one of we the people. He's a player, you know. He's one of their players.
Yeah. Well, but from what I understand, they say do not be careful about sending anything on Skype. That the word was given to me.
But we can't let fear stop us from doing what we have to do. We can have a caution. It's a caution, and when things interrupt and all that, then you have to realize it, and you can't give up and not get frustrated.
Oh no. But the thing that we've been doing through concurrent, e-concurrent, and what we've been doing is better than Skype, from what I heard.
Yeah.
And the other thing is because a couple of guys they've had their computers, all of a sudden they can hardly be able to even pull up PDF or Word files. You know, it's everything. There's something getting ready to happen.
Right. Oh yeah, there's lots of everybody's saying September is gonna be a wild toad ride.
Yeah,
there's 27 things that are gonna happen in September. You can check that out on YouTube.
Good day.
Hey, do I hear Lawrence or Bill?
Yeah, Bill's the one that called talking.
Okay. Yeah. You guys mentioned this form a couple of weeks ago. That was the SEC form. Do you remember what that form number was?
No.
Yes. What now?
Footman form.
You mentioned the form, a couple of weeks ago. It was an SEC form. Security form?
Oh, that. No, I get the name of it. Wait a minute. I pull it up. I can't even think the name. It's 14 something.
I remembered that much, and then the rest of it I just drew a blank.
What's it referred to? SEC means Security and Exchange. Are you talking about them?
Yes, I am. He knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Steve, when we sign the paper, is it beneficial, seeing as how it's the fiction name, to do a trademark symbol behind it?
I don't know what she said. Does anybody else know what she said?
What I said is when we're signing using the employee name, which is part of the fiction, is it beneficial to trademark that name, to do a TM behind it?
Oh. Yeah, but unless you actually do a trademark with Washington, D.C., I don't know if that's valid.
Okay. It's the identity theft affidavit.
Okay.
That's what it's called. And that's Form 14039.
Thank you.
14039?
Yeah. That's the identity theft affidavit.
No, it's SEC. Treasury. Treasury. Hey, this is Bill, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a Skype name?
The 1-inch worm.
The 1-inch worm, all one word?
I don't know. I had it so long that you can ask Tom. Tom has it.
Okay, I'll send Tom a message and let him know that I was talking to you today and ask him to connect us.
Is it spelled one? Is it spelled one or number one?
The number one.
Oh.
I think that guy had it so long I had to say 1-inch worm. So
it's just maybe 1-inch worm.
The 1-inch worm.
The 1-inch worm. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, you remember that toy that kids used to have, the inchworm?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how I came up with that.
Okay, I think the number one is spelled out. What?
Sounds like an eraser. So, the identity theft, did you make a report, Bill? Bill, did you make a report on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I sent mine in.
And it's to the U.S. Treasury, right?
Well, it goes to the IRS. It goes to, but it's through the SEC.
It's through the SEC, okay.
It's SEC, but it goes to the IRS.
Security Exchange Commission, right.
Right.
Is it possible for everyone to mute their phone? And if their phone isn't muted, to not be making noise in the background? Like writing or tinkering with a computer, keyboard, or whatever? Somebody's writing.
Oh, that sounds like erasing.
Or erasing, yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, are you on Skype right now? If I put in the 1-inch worm, I might connect to you.
Wait a minute. Let me see. Let me pull it up because I have. Because the only thing I can go by is what's on there. I don't even know how it's listed. Hold on.
Okay, I'll wait until you reply.
I have a question about if I'm filling out a 1099-A correctly for a credit card bill.
I don't know who's going to answer that question, but I heard what you said. You had a 1099-A question regarding a credit card bill.
All right. The high mine's listed, and I'm looking at something. It's got the 1-inch worm. That's all spelled one word.
Not the in front of it?
Yeah, it's THEINCHWORM. No, it's not the. Wait a minute. I can't even see here. It's the inchworm. That's what it is.
The inchworm. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
The inchworm
Okay.
all by itself. Okay, I'm going to look for you. Bill Smith, Columbia.
Right.
There you are. I'm Steven Sawyer.
Okay.
I hope we're being quiet enough for the ladies that didn't like to hear extra noise.
Thank you. There's still noise in the background, but it's better.
Hold on, please. Hold on.
Yeah. Maybe somebody's doing some woodwork or something and sanding or something, or doing some little chore on the side there.
Could everyone just mute their phones if they're not talking? I guess not. Is there any way to do it from Tom's end?
Did you hear that, Tom? Maybe they just have whiskers and their mic's touching it or something. Sounds like sandpaper too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you mind if I go over this 1099A for the credit card and get your input on whether you think I've done this correctly? For the lender's name, I put in there. It's actually the parent company of the credit card company. So I've got the parent company's name, address to the chief financial officer, the parent company's address. Then for the lender's federal identification, it's the parent company's EIN number. And for the borrower's identification number, it's the Social Security number without dashes. And then for borrower's name, it's the name that shows up on the credit card bill and the address and everything. Then for the account number, I put it like what's on the credit card bill, which says account number ending in, and then the last four digits of the credit card number. And Does that sound about right for what it should be on here?
Well,
I'm sorry, was that a yes?
What I'm looking at, the lender is actually Patrick Devine's Social Security main vessel in care of the Federal Reserve Bank. But I'm looking at one that's July. The estate is your borrower's name, care of your individual banker or private bank, Patrick Devine Private Bank Estate and Trust, care of. He's the borrower on his. I'm looking at his examples.
I was patterning. I was using the example of the guy that did the utility water bill. Yeah.
I'll have to look at that example.
And he didn't put any he didn't put his name up here under the lender part. He just put the utility company name there. And then he got the EIN number for it, which is what I've done here. And then he put his name down here and the borrower's name. And then over in box 5, he marked that where it says, check here if the borrower is personally liable for repayment of your debt. So that's what I was patterning this after, the example I was using for this. So I thought I'd use the endorsement that he used on his utility bill for the back of the credit card statement, and then put together a cover letter to go along with it.
Okay. You need the spot.
Any more suggestions, ideas?
You keep B, and then you just send it to them, and they have to turn it in, or what? You don't have to turn it into the IRS?
Well, according to what I understand on it, I just send in the credit card statement that's endorsed with the cover letter and what is it, copy B of copy C of the 1099-A.
Right.
And that's what I send in to the credit card company.
Right.
So then the copy A of the 1099-A, that's what would go to the IRS with the 1096-A.
Right.
I mean, not a 1096-A, but a 1096.
Aren't we supposed to use the negative dollars amount on these things that you accept? If they don't have to pay it back, then they have to draw the money out, or what?
I think that's on the endorsement on the back of the use the negatives on the endorsement.
Right. That's what I was planning
not on 1099, but I think we should just double check that too.
That's what I was planning to do, and listening to Patrick, what was it, last Wednesday or last Sunday, he was talking about putting the negative value on the back of the endorsement, with the endorsement, and then a positive value on the 1099-A that would accompany it.
Okay, so you endorse on the bill, on the statement.
Yes. So by endorsing the statement, I'm making it into a, I forgot what he called it. I think of it as a money order.
I think he called it a draw. No, the draw is only against the certificate of live birth itself.
Okay. All right. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and try this and see what happens.
Okay, guys. So we've done a bunch together. We now know what we want to do on our own.
Yeah, on the utility bill that he's talking about down in line 3, it says account number. That's his commercial utility account.
Yes, at the very bottom of the right side, of the left side.
Bottom on the left side.
Yes.
That's the utility account. Okay, I got you.
And you need the utility's EIN number for its identification.
Okay, in this example for the credit card, I was able to find a EIN number for the parent company for the Discover card, which is Discover Financial Services. So I got the address for the parent company, the EIN for the parent company, and then as far as the account number, which is the bottom left-hand box, on the statement, the credit card statement, it references the account number as account number ending in the last 4 digits of the credit card number. So I thought I'd just put it on my 1099 the same way.
Okay.
Because on his utility water 1099 example that we have here, he probably has an actual account number that's fully listed there for him. But the only account number that they use for the statement is the actual credit card number, and I don't necessarily want to put the actual credit card number on a 1099-A like this.
Right.
So you're just using the last 4 digits? Is that what you said?
Yeah, on the actual account, it says account number, and then it says account number ending in, and then it gives the last 4 digits of the credit card number. So yeah, I'm just using the last 4 digits. And on this particular one, I'm adding $2,500 to the actual balance that they say is owed. So it's going to have a $2,500 credit. Once this is paid, then I'd leave $2,500 on that as a credit.
I don't know if is that a good idea? What do you guys think?
It is. That's what Bill Smith Lawrence did. Paid off more on the water bill than the bill said.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think he paid $1,930 off, and I think it was like $930, wasn't it, or $700 or something?
Right. And I thought something else interesting about his 1099-A that he used was it's a 2014 form, and he just marked out the 2014 and put in 2015.
Yeah, I see that off to the right. He should have put it in the same box.
But apparently that's not so critical because this went through and worked for him, right?
Right.
But I think that's a good idea. Put it in the same box. Just strike out that year and put the present year in there.
Yeah, all you have to do is strike out the 4 and put a 5 above it. Black it out and make a square and put a 5 right above it.
Yep. Well, I work as an independent inspector, and whenever we are striking out something on a report or anything, we only put a single line through it so that what we are striking out is clearly visible.
Okay.
That's
I
kind
see.
of
Across the whole number and then put the new number above it.
right. That's kind of an industry and governmental standard.
Yeah.
So if a practice that I have, if I make a mistake on one of these forms, I'll mark out my mistake, but it's clearly visible what I did, and then I marked it out as a mistake. Or I'll start over. So, okay, any other thoughts or comments on this?
But you should also says corrected. Is if it's not corrected, that's only if you're making a corrective. There's a box on the top that says it has a box that says corrected if checked.
Yeah, that's to correct a previous submission of yours.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this is a 2013 form that I'm using here, and it has a void and a corrected selection at the top of each of the 4 1099s per the 3 1099s per the page. And on the 2014 example that we have from Bill on the utility bill that he did, it doesn't give us the option to void it there. Kind of an interesting change.
I have to take a look at my 2015 forms.
Yeah, we just got some 2015 forms. I haven't even looked at that part of it. I just noticed it now.
Okay.
So, okay, well, thanks. Thank you all for your help and input on this.
Okay. Thank you. Shall we want to do any more? Or shall we call it a day?
Yeah, I guess Patrick's not going to come on. We could just study our documents and talk on Skype if we have any questions, I guess.
Right. I mean, and this is the kind of thing he wanted us to do, is to talk about it between us.
Right.
So we've done some.
Right, and he can come on when he's got something new to introduce or correct something that changes.
Good. No problem with that. Okay, I'll see you guys then.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, good night, Tom.